Welcome to episode 2 of me talking about my Minecraft character lore. If you have not watched the first part, please go and watch that first so you're not confused. But pretty much this lore is if the server that the character my OC is on has magic on it, this is the lore that comes into play. So, let's get into it. So, a little bit of a backstory is Orchid and Azul. Orchid being a Moobloom hybrid and Azul being a Warden hybrid. Orchid and Azul live on a server where adventuring is very popular. They are a great explorer duo, Azul being the guard, protecting Orchid from any of the traps or dangers that come with exploring the abandoned places, and Orchid being the main explorer, knowing where treasure is, how to locate it, and what things look valuable. They're sitting in a random town that they've come across. They just raided an amazing place, getting a bunch of money and having a good old time. Their plan is to set out to another town not too far away. And they end up talking to some other folks there who start talking of a rumor of a valuable artifact. Now this artifact is claimed to be cursed. No one really knows the story behind how the artifact came to be, but what is known is many people have died trying to get to it. Supposedly the tower that it's in is heavily guarded and monitored. So Azul and Orchid are both like, yeah, let's not go there. But Orchid secretly ends up talking to a person who claims to have a map to that spot. And the person says that they know someone else who has another map who will lead them there even better than theirs. So they tell Orchid to head about 4 towns over to go and collect said map. Orchid, of course, excited by the thrill of this supposedly unobtainable artifact, doesn't say no. She accepts, and she learns the name of the person who she needs to meet. She doesn't tell Azul that she's doing this, because Azul, hearing about how dangerous it might be, has said it's not a good idea for both of them. So of course, they head out of the bar for the night, and they head back to where they are sleeping. They start chatting about what places they may want to try and raid before they leave, and nothing too interesting comes to mind. So they both decide to head over to the next town to go and see if there's any quests that they can pick up. Next morning ends up like every other morning, both of them riding their horses over to the next town. Of course, Azul and Orchid meet with a friend, and they drop off one of the artifacts he asked them to grab. They get rewarded for it, and are on their way again, heading over to the second town. In the second town, there's more chatter of that artifact that Orchid said, sure, I'll go on a quest for. Azul seems skeptical that Orchid's not talking about it, so she finds it a little bit suspicious, because this is definitely something Orchid would want to go for. So Azul starts to get a little bit suspicious and talks to one of the people about the artifact, and they tell her that 2 more towns over, there's a person who claims to have a map towards the artifact. And one of them says that their group is supposedly going on a quest for it. Azul quickly says no, they're not, because Orchid would have talked to her about that first. So of course Azul is now curious to see whether or not Orchid will own up to this, or if she'll have to interrogate her. They end up talking to more folks in the town, and they learn of another artifact. It's not too far out, so they decide to head for it that night. They get there, and it's quite quiet, which they find interesting. They make it to the treasure room, And of course there's a guard there. Azul ends in a battle with the man who's guarding the artifact. Orchid seems thrilled by a new necklace. They check to see if it is cursed, which it isn't. Orchid thinks it's from somewhere around 300 years ago, which is very valuable considering it could have ancient magic. They end up bringing it back to the town, and one of the townsfolk is thrilled by the necklace because it has history in the town. Most of the town thought it was lost and were very happy that the two of them brought it back. So they're given a free night in the local tavern to have a couple drinks, and of course a lovely stay in one of the tavern's rooms. They head to sleep for the night, with Orchid thrilled that they're nearly towards the person with the map, and Azul getting more suspicious about what Orchid's not telling her. The next morning when they get up and they're eating, Azul poses the question to Orchid asking if she's meeting someone 2 towns over. Orchid, of course, being caught off guard, said that she isn't. So Azul ends up naming off the person who Orchid is going to meet, and Orchid finally breaks and says yes, she was going to go for that artifact. Azul being a little upset, they have a small fight. Orchid and Azul end up talking it out, and everything seems sorted for now. They both have a long chat, and with everything sorted, they decide that yes, they will end up going to go for that artifact that Orchid is so interested in. Azul seems a little bit skeptical that it will be easy to get. But Orchid calms her, saying that they've done so many different pillages like this, it should be easy. Azul nods their head and they head off to the next village. In the 3rd village, they end up seeing an old friend. This old friend tells them about an artifact, and it's very funny because it's the same artifact they're both going for. The friend tells them a small story about it, claiming that they believe there is something trapped inside that necklace and it is cursed. Azul, knowing that there have been scenes or items that have been cursed in the past, is now a little bit worried. Because if this necklace is cursed, that would make sense why so many folks have passed away trying to get to it. This, of course, puts her on edge again. Orchid brushes it off, saying that no artifact can be cursed that badly. They've dealt with their fair share of cursed artifacts, and nothing has happened to them. She tells Azul that it can't be that bad. Azul, of course, is back on the thing of maybe they shouldn't go for it, because who knows, it could be their last exploration. With this knowledge, both of them are on either end of this again. Orchid wanting to go for the necklace, while Azul becomes skeptical once again. They end up fighting like that all the way for the whole night. When they wake up in the morning, they talk it through again, and Azul says that Orchid shouldn't go for it, and Orchid said, either you come with me or I'm doing it alone. Azul, knowing how stubborn Orchid is, finally agrees, saying that it doesn't matter what they're told about the necklace next. If Orchid's going for it, they're going with them because they don't want her getting hurt. Orchid, happy with this info, gladly heads off to the next village. Azul following behind. When they make it to the 4th village, they meet with the person who claims to have a map towards the structure. As they take the map, some people start looking and whispering between each other. Azul can hear what they are saying thanks to their warden hybrid nature and allowing them to hear the small conversations. People are interested in why they're going for that relic. The relic is said to be cursed. Azul does believe in the curse. Orchid is skeptical about it. But Azul, knowing how stubborn Orchid is, knows that she needs to go with her. Because Orchid has never been safe in the past. Orchid doesn't really understand what adventures she shouldn't take. Orchid's taken so many adventures that if Azul wasn't there, she might as well be dead. Orchid's gone for so many different artifacts, some that were booby-trapped to high heaven, and others that were so dangerous that even the toughest adventurers refused to go for it. Knowing this, Azul agreed. She doesn't want to go for the artifact, but at the same time she knows that Orchid will go for it no matter what. Orchid doesn't like backing down from a challenge. And every artifact is just a new adventure for her. So as they're walking, they decide to stop in at the local tavern and get a room for the night. The person at the bar ends up chatting to them and actually ends up telling them that they're very surprised that they're going for that artifact. Many folks in the town have gone for it before and never returned. The person behind the bar tells them if they ever see any of the other people who went missing, to please bring them home. It would make them very happy to see some of their family again. When they head off in the next morning towards the tower where the necklace is kept, Azul gets this sinking feeling of dread. Something isn't right. As they come closer to the tower, it almost seems like the door was open for them. Orchid, not sensing the danger, of course heads inside, Azul tying up their horses and quickly following her, trying to get her to go back outside so they can talk about this. Azul is scared. When they first enter, it seems that there are booby traps everywhere, but for some reason none of them are going off. There's a small key puzzle to open up the door. Orchid ends up solving it very quickly. Azul keeps their sword raised and is very skeptical on why nothing is attacking them. They end up going up the stairs and they walk past what look to be some weeping angel statues. Azul, of course, smacks them, but nothing happens. Orchid continues walking along, and Azul has to quickly look away from it, but it doesn't attack, making Azul more cautious of what's about to happen or what is going on. This isn't normal behavior for the statues. They attack anything that doesn't look at them. And Orchid seems to be not worried at all by this knowledge. They keep on going up the tower, and when they make it to the treasure room, it seems almost empty. Except for a pedestal in the center holding the necklace up. Azul immediately tries to see if the floor is booby-trapped or if there's anything that might send anything towards them. Orchid is unconcerned and just wants to go for the necklace because there has been no danger so far. Azul, sensing something bad is going to happen, tries to talk her out of taking it and says that they should leave. Orchid ignores her and grabs the necklace, quickly swapping it for a small bag. Nothing happens. There's no trap. Nothing goes off. Azul is scared. They've seen multiple skeletons of the fallen people who have tried to go for it first. So why isn't anything attacking them? Orchid isn't as concerned. She's just happy they got the relic and get to go scot-free. Azul's nervous. This isn't like anything they've experienced before. This place seems way too dangerous for them to be able to just walk in and walk out. They leave the building and nothing comes after them. Azul is concerned because one of their horses runs off as soon as it sees the necklace. They can't even call it back. They have to physically chase it back down. Orchid is stood at the base of the tower as Azul runs after the runaway horse. When the horse comes back, it's very nervous to have the necklace on Orchid. Azul tells her to take off the necklace. Orchid laughs a little, taking it off and sticking it into one of her treasure bags. The horses seem nervous on why the necklace is there. Azul recognizing that they're also picking up on some sort of danger that neither of them can see. Both the horses are nervous as they are making their way back to town. Azul telling Orchid they should get checked to see if it's cursed. Orchid, saying that's just a necklace, doesn't think it's very cursed. If it were cursed, it would be more guarded. When they make it back to the town and the townsfolk see the necklace, some of them are skeptical. Some of the townsfolk don't think they have the real necklace. Some of them say they're just faking it for the attention. But the interesting thing is, the map that they were given is now blank. All it shows on it is the necklace's image, which they both find very interesting. How does a necklace go? How does the map go from having the entire layout of where the tower is to just having a photo of the necklace on it? Azul wants to take it to the town's cursed jeweler. Every town has one to check if artifacts are real, fake, or cursed. Orchid, saying no, he'll steal it, says if she takes the necklace there, then she's not talking to her. It ends up in a large fight that night. Azul wanting to take the necklace to the cursed jeweler in the morning, and Orchid saying that he'll steal it and she doesn't want them to lose it. It ends in a stalemate, both of them going to bed upset. That night, a weird glow comes from the bag where the necklace is kept. It seemed to have picked up on their negativity, bleeding its own magic into it. The next morning, when both of them wake up, for some reason, they can't move. Something else gets up and talks. For some reason, when they look in the mirror, both of them are fused together in the same body. Except, neither of them can talk. Something else is talking for them. The necklace was confirmed to be cursed. There's an entity in it that ended up fusing the both of them together, taking the body as its new vessel. The necklace hanging around their neck as the person leaves their room, using Orchid's voice to wish the tavern keeper a good day. The same horse who ran yesterday is nowhere to be seen. Only one of their horses is there. The horse says there is nervous about the new person on it, but ends up calming down once it's given a carrot, almost accepting its new owner. As Azul and Orchid start panicking, trying to figure out how to move their body, something talks to them, saying that it's thanking them for releasing it, and it's happy with the body they have given it. Azul and Orchid are, of course, nervous, And Orchid apologizes to Azul, saying it's all their fault that they're in this situation. If only they had listened to Azul about taking the necklace to the cursed jeweler. The entity that had fused them together called itself Scarlet, after the red gemstone in the necklace. It said it was very happy with the two of them stumbling upon it, saying that it chose them as its new host. The entity in the necklace is more powerful than both of them, easily being able to outmatch them in who's in control the most. Both of them, being very upset at no longer having a body to control, are forced to watch as the entity enjoys all the things that they used to. Azul and Orchid are very sad. Orchid blames themselves for the situation, while Azul tries to comfort them as best as they can. The entity laughs at their pain. It enjoys one thing. Enjoys making both of them sad. And the best way it's found to make them sad is to do things that they didn't like. One being the entity, whenever it's in control, will end up eating beef. Of course, with Orchid being a moo bloom, they get very sad by that. The entity also likes being in noisy areas because it upsets Azul. With Azul being a warden hybrid, they can't really handle loud noises for too long. The entity enjoys this. And of course, the entity is always in control now. The necklace has binded itself to them. As far as they are aware, they're stuck like this, and nothing can get them free. I hope you enjoyed the second episode of the lore behind my Minecraft character. And episode 3 should be hopefully in a couple weeks. I hope you enjoyed and have a good day. Bye!